Now you probably may have realized that your effects are hard to control in your production. Are your tracks too loud, or is there any clashing frequencies going on between the tracks? You've came to the right video. Today, the two questions that we'll be answering is what are send and insert effects and when to use them. Let's have a look in Logic Pro 10. Now here's a common problem that every beginner producer face, and that is to having control of their effects. Now I know Logic Pro in the channel strip settings, there are slots that you can add effects to your instruments. This is very tempting for every beginner producers because you guys will just add in the effects and you thought you guys are done with mixing. And then you realize there's actually a problem of controlling the mix. So here are some of the implications when you put an effect straight onto a track, which is also known as an insert effect. Some of your tracks may get louder, frequencies that are clashing, some of your tracks may not sound the same as the original source. The solution is probably to use send effects, but let's see what's the difference between them and how do we apply them, and of course, when do we apply them. Technically, insert effects is actually sound design, because I would say insert effects is like slapping the effect directly onto the track. Now that makes the sound being altered and you're actually designing it based on making changes to the source signal. So what I have on an insert effect are two main effects that I usually use, which is channel EQ and a compressor. You can see there's a channel EQ, I'm going to turn it on, and a compressor. Now let's just play around with the EQ, and this is definitely going to change the sound. So this is a good thing about insert effects. So say this is the sound that you really want, then you should use insert effects because you are actually removing or adding frequencies, altering the sound source. Send effects, on the other hand, is actually sending your sound source to a parallel effect. So it goes like this. It goes hand in hand. So let's have a look in Logic Pro. I have a reverb plugin and let's see how it sounds directly onto the track itself. Though in the plugin itself, you can adjust the dry and wet levels, there's not much control and it's going to be a lot messier in terms of production workflow. So the other alternative is to actually use send effects. This is where send effect comes in. Chroma is loaded in this send effects bus 1. If I double click on Chroma, it's a guitar chamber preset, the same preset that I used for the insert effects earlier on. I'm going to send this bus 1, effects 1, reverb. I'm going to turn it on. There's also an option here that has post-pan, post-fader, pre-fader. Post-fader means you're sending the sound that is affected by the chain of insert effects. Then you also have pre-fader, that means you're sending the signal of this source sound without this chain of insert effects to bus 1. So you get to control these two types of parameters in send effects. Now let's listen to this without the reverb on the send effect. I'm just going to increase the reverb right now. Now say you like this but it's getting too loud. This is the most cool thing because on send effects you can actually lower down the volume and you can balance it with your source signal. So let's hear it. Send effect gives you a lot more control because you get to control the volume of the effect that is affecting the source signal, at the same time giving you source sound itself undisturbed by any other effects. In general, for insert effects, you would want to apply effects that are gonna alter your sound. So it's gonna be to taste, like EQ or compression, whereas send effects is more of like time-based effects, which means it could be an effect of reverb or delay, chorus, because some of these can get very messy in production, especially when you have a lot of stereo widening, you have a lot of like decays going on. You want to control those levels and frequency. Even for the chroma reverb, I can add additional effects on the chain. Like example, I don't like the frequency of the reverb that's coming out. I can actually cut it off. So let's have a listen. The control here is really amazing. At the end of the day, there is no right or wrong. You can use effects however the way you want it to be. You can send it, you can insert it, as long your mix sounds good. Now, I also have a template on Logic Pro that sets up for you your insert and send effects. It comes with auxiliary buses that can have your instruments sent directly to these effects, and you can expand it by duplicating these tracks as well. I've also added some compressors and EQ on the insert effects because these are actually sound design effects on the tracks for both software and audio instrument tracks. You guys can get this template at $1 on my Ko-fi page. So now you guys get a rough idea of what send and insert effects are. Which one will you use? Comment down below in the comment box section and let me know which one you prefer based on the genre that you are producing. Otherwise, if you really like this video, remember to smash that like button, hit the subscribe button on my channel, and hit that post notification bell button so that whenever I release new videos, you guys will get notified straight away. I'm Vibe Synthetic once again, guys. It's been a pleasure giving you tips and tricks on Logic Pro, and I hope to see you guys on the next video. Peace!